Hello everyone and welcome back. So a few days I posed a question on my community page asking viewers whether they thought home prices would be higher or lower 1 year from today. And nearly 1,100 of you voted and 60% of you thought that home prices would be higher 1 year from now. But a lot of you reached out and asked my thoughts on where I thought home prices would go. So I wanted to take some time and discuss home prices, where we see appreciation in 2021, kind of give you a 2021 housing market forecast with regards to home prices. We're also going to take a look at the top 10 cities from the National Association of Realtors that are poised to have the most growth, the most strength in 2021. And we're going to talk about why. Why are those cities the ones that are poised to do best? That's what we're going to take a look at in this video. We're going to talk about that because I think it's important for homeowners, people selling their property, that they should know this, but also first-time home buyers, those that are just entering the market. If you're looking in one of these hot markets, it's likely going to be a tougher road ahead when purchasing property, when buying a house in these markets, just because the competition is fierce. And we're going to talk about why. Why are people moving to these areas? And then there's also a website which I'm going to link to in the description below that you can put in your state and you can find out where people are moving outbound to. Where are people in California moving to? It's one of those big questions, like where's everybody going? And then on the other side, who's coming into California? Where are they coming from? Because we know people are leaving the state for taxes, for politics, for lower home prices, but there are people coming in as well. So where are those people coming from? We're going to take a look at that as well. So before we dive into the housing market forecast data, where we expect to see home prices, appreciation, etc., I want to take a minute and introduce myself. My name is Jeb Smith. I'm a real estate broker here in Southern California. My channel is all about real estate, helping buyers and sellers navigate that home buying process, home selling process. So if this interests you at all, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Now, there's a lot of opinions out there on where the market is going to go in 2021 with regards to appreciation. But, if you follow economists out there, if you follow the National Association of Realtors, Zillow, whoever it is that you get your data from, there's a range. And most people are expecting appreciation across the United States as a whole somewhere between 4 and 6%. Now, the National Association of Realtors is coming out with 5.7%. So if you're one of those people that just wanted to watch the video for what you thought appreciation was going to do next year, they're saying somewhere around 5.7%. But it's likely to be higher in some of these other markets where people are moving to, where job growth is booming, where people see value in going, and those markets are going to appreciate at a more rapid pace than the U.S. as a whole. So we're going to talk about those in just a minute. But one reason that the appreciation is going to grow next year, we're going to see that 5 to 6%, according to the National Association of Realtors, is because home sales are going to be up nearly 7% in 2021. So you're going to have more sales in 2021 than you did in 2020. And with that, because supply is low and buyer demand is high, right now the market's being fueled because there's not a lot of property out there. Interest rates are low. There's people vying for the same property. So you're seeing a lot of multiple offers. Properties sell above the asking price, and that's going to continue. But in order to see 7% more sales in 2021 than we did in 2020, we're going to have to see an increase in inventory. And right now, inventory is at really, really low levels. And so we're going to have to see a lot of properties start to come to the market in that spring and summer season for us to achieve those numbers. But, I think regardless of whether we see that 7% growth in number of sales, of home sales, I still think we're likely to see appreciation because it's going to be fueled by low supply and high buyer demand. Now, one of the things that these top 10 cities that they're referencing for growth in 2021 have in common is that they're all kind of centered around tech in some way. So, a lot of tech jobs are moving to these areas. It's attracting millennials, which make up a very big pool of the home buyers in the market right now, because millennials are now just at prime buying age. They're just starting to enter the market. And, while they're just starting to enter the market, a lot of millennials already own property out there, and now they're becoming move-up buyers too. So you have them being move-up buyers and entry-level buyers, and we're just at the start of them entering the market. So as they continue to enter the market, you're likely to see, growth. And they want to be in areas that are tech friendly. They want to be in areas that are convenient. There's restaurants, there's shopping, there's dining. The areas are hip. And so you're starting to see areas like that grow, which you're going to see from the list that I bring up in just a moment. And another thing that you see in these areas is that some are kind of on the outskirts of bigger markets. For example, one of the cities up there, is on the outskirts of Los Angeles. And so, a couple of years ago, these are cities that people weren't considering, but now they are, because home prices, for one, have gone up so much in these major cities. But another thing that happened during the pandemic is employers are now allowing employees to work from home, maybe permanently in some cases. So these buyers can now move to areas that they wouldn't consider before because of the commute that was there prior to. Or maybe they only have to go into the office 1 day a week now versus, say, 5 days a week. And so they no longer have that commute every day. They only have it maybe once a week or twice a week. And so now they're willing to go even further out from wherever their job is located, because home prices are cheaper. Or maybe they can actually buy a property in some of those markets, whereas in the market where their employer is located, maybe housing is the demand is just so high and prices are just so high that they can't enter the market. So that's what's going to continue to fuel the housing market in 2021. It's going to be driven by low supply and high buyer demand, but more so people just wanting to have a place where they can be comfortable and potentially work from home. So now let's take a minute and pull up that chart that shows the top 10 markets for growth in 2021 and talk a little bit about some of those cities on there. And again, I'm going to reference the link to this in the description below if you want to be able to look at this in more detail. So at the top of that list, you have Sacramento really leading the growth there, with a year-over-year expected growth of nearly 17%. But why Sacramento? Well, Sacramento is kind of on the outskirts of San Francisco, which is a market that has completely just gone bonkers with regards to pricing, and a lot of people have been priced out of that market. It's densely populated. A lot of people want to get away from that. And so Sacramento is one of those areas now that people are willing to consider, because it's still a commute to San Francisco from there, maybe a longer commute in some cases, but it gives them the ability to actually purchase a home, something that's more affordable. You get more property, you get more land, get more square footage for less cost. So you're seeing areas like Sacramento lead the charge in this case, and that's poised to be one of the best markets in 2021 because of that. And also you see on here, you got areas like San Jose, Charlotte, Boise, Phoenix. A lot of these cities now are centered, around tech. And these are areas that people are moving to for jobs and growth. And so you're starting to see appreciation in those markets as well. Now, keep in mind, in these markets, you're also seeing anemically low supply of homes. So there's not a lot of property for sale in these markets, which is adding fuel to the fire, because not only are a lot of people moving to these markets from other states like California, like Texas, and just different states across the United States for different opportunities, but there's no supply, right? So you've got a lot of buyers looking for the same property, putting offers in on the same property, and that's what's causing that growth, right? There's just not a lot out there. And so as supply stays low and that buyer demand stays high, you're going to see the appreciation in these markets soar. And at the bottom of the list there, number 10, you have Riverside, right? Riverside County is on the outskirts of Orange County, where I'm located, as well as Los Angeles County. And it's always been a more affordable market than where we live. It's about an hour commute or so from here, about an hour commute or so into LA. And, as I mentioned earlier, people are now willing to consider areas like Riverside, areas like San Bernardino, because it's more affordable. You get more land, you get bigger properties for less money. But what we're seeing there is also a lack of supply, right? So that lack of supply and people wanting to be out there or willing to consider it in this case because it's more affordable, that buyer demand, it's causing prices to continue to soar. And that is going to continue into 2021 and likely into 2022 until we see supply increase. Now, earlier we discussed people moving in and out of the state. So who's moving out of California? Where are they going? And again, I'm going to provide a link below so you can check out your state to find out where people are coming in from and where people are leaving to. But here in California, as you'll see from this, the majority of people leaving are going to Texas, right? And I think anybody that's in the real estate business here in Southern California knows there are people going to Texas because a lot of our clients are actually leaving and heading there. But you can also see states like Nevada, Arizona, Florida, and these are more tax-friendly states than California. In fact, every state's more tax-friendly than California for the most part. So you got people moving out of the state, wanting more tax-friendly. Clearly, there's a lot of politics involved with people moving out of state as well, but you can also see from the other chart here that there are a lot of people moving in from Texas. So while we're sending the majority of our people to Texas, Texas is also reciprocating. And a lot of the people coming back into California are from Texas, as well as some other states, as you'll see here. So, it's not just people leaving the state of California. There's still people coming in. It's somewhat of an equal give and take, if you will, with people leaving and people coming. So, everybody thinks that, well, if everybody's leaving California, well, then that will add more supply and that home prices will drop. Not true, right? As many people are leaving, there's that many people coming into the market, and we're still having that supply and demand issue. So, I mentioned at the beginning, I expect home prices to continue to rise through 2021. And again, all real estate's local. So you'll have some markets that don't fare as well as others. But for those markets that are in that list that I mentioned, those are the ones that are poised to do the best. But I expect that you'll see a lot of the United States perform very, very well in 2021. And it's going to be driven by low supply and high buyer demand and low interest rates, right? Which we've discussed many, many times. That's not going to change anytime soon. But as we find out more information on mortgage forbearance, on foreclosures and evictions coming up in the next few months, that might add some supply to the market and could help balance it out. I don't think it's going to shift things in a way that a lot of people think and cause a housing crash or this foreclosure wave to happen. But we'll take a look at that data as it becomes available. We'll talk about it and see if we expect any changes in the housing market. But for now, I expect the market to continue to be on fire, if you will, and appreciation to be at least 5 or 6%, through 2021. So if you have questions for me, comments for me, do me a favor, leave them below. I'll always go back and try to address those. But for now, I appreciate you taking the time to watch. Appreciate the support. We'll see you again soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.